100 years later, there was a little girl living in a Fire Nation orphanage school. The little girl name was Flare. Flare was the girl who had a heart of nature and kindness, but one day, this when it all fell. Flare teacher, Corgia Coil, who told the children a warning about Jaku forest. There's a trademark on the shrine in a well, covered from a circular boulder, and it's sort of connected to the spirit oasis. It is the most peaceful place. It's the most peaceful and spiritual place in all of the Northern Water Tribe, and is also connected to the Air Temple sanctuaries. And the last place is connected to the Banyan Groove Tree. This spiritual shrine is also connected to the Northern Water Tribe spirit wilds. This myth is so far-fetched, but some people may use to say it was a scary tale to scare children. But this particular forest could cause you to hallucinate when you enter the torii that guards this forest. You get the feel of dread and fears of the supernatural forest. But Flora is the only known child to enter this forest for a shortcut. As she walked through the thickest forest at one point, she saw something shiny. As for her nook, it was her parents, two noble citizens in the Fire Nation. For your mother, Egria, and her husband, King. Of course, Freya was absorbed from the sight of her parents. She never knew, but luckily Corgia, seeing what driven Freya deep in darkness and chaos of the Jaku. As Corgia was horrified from the sight, Corgia ran towards her and let out a glass water skin. As Corgia pulled out the cork of the glass-like pouch that was filled with spirit water from the spirit oasis. As Corgia got close enough to sprinkle the water spirit on the two shiny spirits that Freya was attractive to. As the water splashed on them, they soon turned to mist that caused Freya to snap and ran off like a cheetah that just got bitten by a tiger. As Corgia called out for her, she didn't return or even call back. So later, Corgia contacted the Water Tribe warriors. And even the Earth Kingdom Terra team, and even the Koyoshi warriors. As these three different warriors looked through the wanted forest, each group had a Koshi warrior and a Water Tribe warrior and a Terra team soldier. As 5 groups searched through the mysterious forest, but the Corgi warrior sworn that she heard whispering and a bit of humming. So they followed the eerie and sounding tune. As they got closer and closer, they reached the suspect victim. It was Freya, but her appearance gave an unsure and suitable feeling. Her appearance was similar to the contact twisted affected Chojo, the earthbender, but she was completely ill. So one of the One of the members put the somewhat ill Flea on an ancient stretcher. After they found her, they brought her to the forming village hospital to get checked out. After several months had passed, she continued going back to school, but it looks like she wasn't herself. At one point, she was twitching and spazzing out of expected moments in class. At recess, she asked one of her classmates to come over because she wanted to show him something. At first glance, it was a wooden bucket. But one question was what was in the bucket. But Cordelia spotted Freya's evil grin stretch across her face. And in a moment, Corey called out without even a second thought ran across her mind. She called out, "Recess is over." Then her grin contorted into an evil snarl as she mumbled under her breath, "Shoot." Hours passed, and it was time to go as the kids left to go home. When Cordelia got all of her things and about to head out the door, she sworn she heard an evil, playful girl giggling, and then some gibberish to demon tongue, and then to eerie whispering. As Cordelia peeked and sneaked in the entire rooms of the elementary school to different classrooms, until she came across a shut-down, abandoned, ruined classroom that every kid talked about. I mean, the way it looks, it had vines overgrowing and moss everywhere. There's a big hole on the right. There's a big hole right in the center that never been repaired, and broken glass and broken ceiling. Even the floors was completely destroyed. Even broken pipes everywhere. And what is more creepy, flickering lights and water puddles in the corner in the room, and electricity switch wires and cables were cut to make this haunting classroom even more hazardous. Even possibly some torches around to keep this room lit. As Cordelia is making a good amount of peeks and glances around the eerie environment, but she quickly spotted Flea in the center, but in a faraway sight. As Cordelia started to slowly walk towards Flea, then all of a sudden she stopped to hear Flea speaking to the dolls and stuffed animals that's been beheaded. After she realized that Flea was mentally ill and insane, Cordelia called her name in a straight whisper. As Flea name has been called, Flea turned her head into a 360 degrees like an owl and gave off the most creepiest smile and said in an evil demonic voice, as her eyes turned completely darkness black, What do you want and what do you need? When Cordelia discovered this disturbing entity, quickly Cordelia pulled out a chemical used to create during chemistry class, since she teach it. The unknown substance was a mixture of sulfur acid, even acid, a bit of peroxide, lemon, some onions, even dices of soap. And this serum is about 100 degrees hot, plus Cordelia had to use blacksmith and welding gloves to hold such a serum. Korgia, without thinking twice, she spilled the hot chemical on Freya. From this result, Freya let out the most spine-chilling demonic scream. It was so loud it could burst her eardrum, even break windows or glass. As Korgia successfully retreat, she heard the corrupted demonic Freya speak in tongue and say, "I'll kill you!" As the demonic Freya was enraged enough, Korgia made it to the classroom and locked each doors in the classroom. And she also heard creepy humming and eerie singing from the demonic Freya. But Korgia made a sanctuary circle of pure light, yin. As she kept hearing thumps from each side of the doors and tapping on other windows. Then later heard screams from the room, but then silence. Then it was silent. Then, as Korgia was in fear to face a monster from the center of the classroom, Korgia was in fear to face the monster. From the center of the classroom, something was violet purple. Something was violet purple with tentacles emerging from the stone ground. As it appears, demonic Freya looks like she had evolved. She had bony like spider legs. Protruding from her back, and even tentacles also protruding from her back. She even had a slimy, long, serpentine, dark pink tongue. And her normal human teeth shifted to sharp daggers, and they were quite yellow. So the battle began. Demonic Freya tried to break Korgia's barrier, but she used Ice Shield. And a water bubble. Even an ice stone. As these four barriers, Korgia used to protect herself from Freya. After a couple of strikes, Korgia used the breath of ice. The user takes a deep breath and exhales the air as the cloud of freezing mist to blind the evil Freya. Then she used ice bullets. And also put a twist, she also used water bullets and possibly ice shards. Korgia used her two final attacks on the evil Freya with her iceberg spikes. There were enough water around so Korgia could use water bullets and ice spirit, even ice shards. To impale Freya, bony crab-like spider-like tentacle leg was pinned down on the wall as Freya muffling and screeching at Korgia. When she made her great escape from this terrifying danger she was in.